The German Chancellor Angela Merkel courted controversy after she posed for pictures with carol singers who had applied black face paint to pose as the Three Kings. It was part of the Sternsinger, or Star Singer, tradition of Dreikönigstag, the Three Kings' Day, when children go from house to house in groups of four and sing carols for charity. Three Kings' Day does not conjure up a warm and fuzzy feeling for most Americans, as it is not a holiday commonly celebrated in the United States. In Europe, however, January the 6th, which in English is generally referred to as Celebration of the Three Wise Men to the Infant Jesus, is honored in various forms as a part of the Christian Christmas calendar. It is the 12th day after the birth of Christ and the day on which the Magi arrived at the manger in Bethlehem. As a Christian holiday, Dreikönigstag is a blend of various elements adopted at different times in Christian history. In the Bible, Matthew is the only apostle to report on the Magi's visit to Bethlehem. Interestingly, he never mentions a specific number of kings, but simply refers to them as Magi from the East, Matthew 2:1. The fact that there were three of them is conjecture based on the number of gifts they brought: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Sometime between the 6th and 9th century, the three wise men, rather randomly, received names Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. About 5 centuries later, during the Spanish Crusades, the idea was born that Caspar was a Moor, and thus nativity scenes, in Europe, to this day, depict him as a black king. The story of the three Magi is of particular significance to Germany because a magnificent golden shrine purportedly containing the remains of the three kings has been housed in the Cathedral of Cologne since 1164. The story of how they got there is rather convoluted and unproven, but interesting nonetheless. At some point, the three wise men became intermingled with the ancient pagan custom of writing protective spells onto the door frames of houses. In the 16th century, Sternsinger became a popular Catholic tradition, reenacting the Magi's journey towards the star that shone in the east. They carried crowns, frankincense, and a star from door to door, singing songs or reciting poems or prayers at each house. They also wrote the letters C plus M plus B, followed by the year, with consecrated chalk onto the door frame of each house to protect the house and its inhabitants from evil. In return, the star singers received gifts from the homeowners. Some sources claim that the letters have always stood for Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, but others assert that the letters originally stood for the Latin Christus mansionem benedicat, Christ bless this house. Either way, in the public perception, the custom became firmly associated with the three wise men Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar. For a while the star singer custom disappeared into obscurity, but it was resurrected by the Catholic Church about 50 years ago with a slightly different purpose. Nowadays, the star singers perform the same services, singing and blessing the houses with chalk, but they do so for charitable donations rather than for their own benefit. Dreikönigstag is an official holiday in a few German states, and in Austria, but observance and traditions vary considerably by region. In Switzerland, in parts of Austria, as well as in France and Spain, the three wise men are commemorated with a special type of bread. In Switzerland, it is a sweet yeast bread that consists of a large round loaf surrounded by 6 smaller round loaves. Originally, families baked their own Three Kings bread, but in modern times, people prefer to purchase the bread, complete with paper crown, from a baker shop. One of the small loaves hides a tiny plastic figure of a king, and whoever is fortunate enough to find the buy 6 smaller round loaves. Originally, families baked their own Three Kings bread, but in modern times, people prefer to purchase the bread, complete with paper crown, from a bake shop. One of the small loaves hides a tiny plastic figure of a king, and whoever is fortunate enough to find the